there was a conference held out on the outskirts of Washington, D.C., entitled Winter Soldier, Iraq and Afghanistan. It harkened back to Winter Soldier testimonies from three decades ago during the Vietnam War. And they basically got together some U.S. troops, and they made comments about what happened inside Iraq that the media does not cover and that we don't talk about, and of course the administration doesn't talk about, and the commanding officers don't talk about. There was apparently some startling testimony from a number of people, but Iraq war vet John Michael Turner clearly had the most startling testimony, and it really is chilling. It's about what they did to innocent Iraqis, and I can't believe he said this on tape. I do want to give you a little warning towards the last minute of this, and it lasts about 4 minutes. There is a very graphic picture of Iraqi boy's head, so just a little warning on that. Now let's listen to Iraq war vet John Michael Turner.
I served with Kilo Company, 3rd Battalion, 8th Marines as an automatic machine gunner. This man was innocent. I don't know his name. I called him the Fat Man. He was walking back to his house, and I shot him in front of his friend and his father. The first round didn't kill him after I had hit him up here in his neck area. And afterwards he started screaming and looked right into my eyes. So I looked at my friend who I was on post with, and I said, well, I can't let that happen. So I took another shot and took him out. He was then carried away by the rest of his family. It took 7 people to carry his body away. We were all congratulated after we had our first kills, and that happened to have been mine. My company commander personally congratulated me, as he did everyone else in our company. This is the same individual who had stated that whoever gets their first kill by stabbing them to death will get a 4-day pass when we return from Iraq. I do have some video footage and pictures that I'll be sharing with you. This man right here was my 3rd confirmed kill. As you can see, he was riding his bicycle. Later on in the day, we went ahead and we had CBS Laura Logan with us, but she was with the other squad. And so she wasn't with us, so myself and 2 other people went ahead and took out some individuals because we were excited about the firefight we had just gotten into, and we didn't have a cameraman or woman with us. Anytime we did have embedded reporters with us, our actions would change drastically. We never acted the same. We were always on key with everything, did everything by the books. This is after one of the guys in the weapons company had gotten shot. This is a way that we would take out our aggression. For those of you who don't know, it is illegal to shoot into a mosque unless you were taking fire from it. There was no fire that was taken from that mosque. It was shot into because we were angry. A lot of the raids and patrols we did were at night, around 3 o'clock in the morning, around there. And what we would do is just kick in the doors and terrorize the families. On my wrist, there's Arabic for F you. I got that put on my wrist just 2 weeks before we went to Iraq because that was my choking hand. And anytime I felt the need to take out aggression, I would go ahead and use it. If the men of the household were giving us problems, we'd go ahead and take care of them any way we felt necessary, whether it be choking them or slamming their head against the walls. Everyone sitting up here has these stories, and there's been over 1 million troops that have gone in and out of Iraq, so the possibilities are endless. The reason I am doing this today is not only for myself and for the rest of society to hear, but it's for all those who can't be here to talk about the things that we went through, talk about the things that we did. With that being said, that is my testimony. I just want to say that I am sorry for the hate and destruction that I've inflicted on innocent people, and I'm sorry for the hate and destruction that others have inflicted on innocent people. At one point, it was okay. But reality has shown that is not, and that this is happening, and that until people hear about what is going on with this war, it will continue to happen and people will continue to die.
Why did they do this? And who's responsible? Those are some obvious questions. First thing is, we train these guys to go ahead and kill folks, right? And then we sit them in the middle of Iraq where they take fire from people that they don't know and can't comprehend. They can't tell who's who, they can't tell who's friendly, they can't tell who's an enemy. And then we get surprised with, their lack of training, with the encouragement they're getting from their commanding officers, that when they lose people within their battalion or division or whoever they happen to be with that day, that they lash out. I mean, put aside the killings for a second. What they did to that mosque, right? Those are some young boys who are angry. And they've seen somebody die in front of them that they cared about, that was a friend of theirs, so they want to strike back. Unless you have put a great number of restraints on these folks and trained them to your absolute utmost ability, and had everybody in the chain of command saying, here's why we cannot strike back, here's why we cannot fire into a mosque, here's why we can't shoot a guy in the head for no apparent reason. They're going to do it. And anybody who served in armed forces, I would imagine, recognizes that. So, is it the fault of these kids who did it? There is no way of avoiding responsibility. Yes, it is. He should have never killed that guy on the bike, and he should have never killed that guy that he called the fat man. Okay? And they shouldn't have fired into that mosque. Now, having said that, is it also the fault, and even more so, the fault of the commanding officers and all the way up the chain of command of all the people who said, and that goes all the way to Rumsfeld and it goes all the way to Bush, do whatever you got to do and go ahead and win this war? Of course it's their fault. And Don Rumsfeld didn't know this was happening. George Bush didn't know this is happening. He thought that everything was hunky-dory and everybody's following the rules exactly, and that these guys weren't encouraged to kill innocent Iraqi civilians. Now you wonder why we have this enormous uprising and this war that has lasted longer than our presence in World War II. Gee, I wonder how we lost Iraqi hearts and minds. This is why the Iraqis want to get rid of us, because there is a deep shame and humiliation and embarrassment. Not only do we do this, but there's not a damn thing they could do about it. You think that we're going to send John Michael Turner back to be tried by the Iraqis? You think we're going to send Don Rumsfeld back to be tried by the Iraqis for the crimes that they've committed? You think we're going to send George Bush to get tried by the Iraqis for the crimes he's committed? Hell no. You know it, I know it, and the Iraqi people know it. And that's why they hate us. People, dumbasses here, conservatives sitting comfortably on their couch somewhere in America going, oh man, we liberated them. Why did they hate us? You don't have any idea what's happening in Iraq, do you? And you got to give those guys credit there, standing, that went to that conference and spoke out. They told you for the first time what actually happens in a war and what's actually happening in Iraq. And it's eye-opening, man. And the fact that the media has never covered it should be of great shame to them. Look at what they said there. They said, when we had an embedded reporter like Lara Logan from CBS, we all pretended that we followed every rule and regulation, and as soon as they left, we started shooting innocent Iraqi civilians, like that guy on the bike in that video. And the reporters never caught on. Never caught on. It's hard to blame the reporters inside Iraq. They're the ones that are putting their lives on the line. But someone should have gotten somebody that's covered a war before and asked the tough questions. Hey, are we really following every rule and regulation in Iraq? Hey, why have all of the Iraqi people turned against us? Now, I'll be fair, outside of the Kurds, right? Why did we lose the Shiites and the Sunnis when we liberated the, quote-unquote, liberated the Shiites? When we helped the Shiites gain power over Iraq, why did they hate us? The news organizations did not ask that question. They never figured out why. They never figured out what was really happening in Iraq. From them, and obviously up to the Bush administration, they're all responsible for this.